you're ordered underneath the law of Moses, alright, not to despise or to hate or to abhor a Edomite, right? To be able to unable to bear. You're not supposed to be unable to bear a Edomite. Why? Because he's your brother. Alright, in ritual sense, in ethical sense, to loathe, to hate, in a sense to cause to be abominable, to make abominable, to do abominably. Alright, let's see what we have here. Let's finish this off too. So it says, okay, let's go back. Romans 23 verse 7. It says, thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou was a stranger in his land. So you can't hate the Egyptian because you was a stranger in his land. So they once did some things to us that wasn't cool. So the Lord doesn't want us to. Let's go back, let's prove it. Let's prove it. Matthew chapter 5. Excuse me. Matthew chapter 5 verse 39. But I say unto you that ye resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. Let's get this in NLT and other versions. But I say unto you, do not resist the evil person. If someone slaps you on the right cheek, offer also the other cheek. But I say unto you, do not show opposition against the evil person, but whosoever slaps you on the right cheek, based off of faith, which was going to be the root cause for the arrhythmia of not just Israel being saved, but of the other nations. So this gospel, this good news, was preached to Abraham. Let's read it again. Galatians chapter 3 verse 8. And the scriptures, foreseeing that God would justify the Gentiles by faith, preached the gospel to Abraham beforehand, saying, "In you all nations shall be blessed." Okay. So then, those who are of Abraham are blessed with the believing Abraham. Chapter 3 verse 16. Now to Abraham and his seed, a singular, where the promise is made, and does not say the seeds, with plural, as many, but it seeds as one, and to your seed, who is Christ, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. You and pray for them that despitefully use you and persecute you. Esau persecutes us. Esau despitefully uses us. Alright, Esau hates us. Esau is our enemy. You know, you can't get any more clear than this. Right? That you may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. So how do you become the children of God? Loving your adversaries, praying for them that persecute you, doing good to them that hate you. For he maketh the sun to rise on the evil, on the good. But you may say, wait a minute, Esau is evil, I'm not loving him. The Lord said, for he maketh the sun to rise on the evil and the good. You may say, Esau is unjust, and sendeth the rain to fall on the just and the unjust. Right? Another one. But I say unto you, do not resist the evil person who insults you or violates your rights. But whoever slaps you on the right cheek, turn to the other toward him. Also, simply ignore insignificant insults and trivial losses.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Recha HaKodash, and double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to you, brethren, you fellow believers of this faith, and shalom to the elect. Right? So, I don't know what's going on with these jakes. You know, they don't have garments anymore. You know, they decide to take the garments off. They preach we're in the new covenant now, but the Lord says in the first commandment, love the Lord with all your heart and your might and strength, but you won't wear your garments, especially when you go out and teach. Now, Yahweh Shai is the one that brought us back through faith, right? So we understand that, and according to the new covenant, the kingdom of heaven starts within you. But the Lord said, I will not drink of the fruit of the vine until I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. So according to their doctrine, you're going to have, we're in the new covenant. Well, I guess when the kingdom starts, we're going to have another new covenant. So maybe it's a refurbished covenant. I don't know. I was going to do a video on that, but they need to explain to me Hebrews 8 and 11, right? That no man shall teach his neighbor, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me from the least to the greatest. And I will put my laws into their minds and their hearts. But I don't want to go on that. I really want to touch on this, right? So much with these guys. I really want to, because they're doing videos on, the elders and, apostles, and, we don't get mad about that. Do a video on me, that's fine. But in this video, they love Esau, right? That's what they're saying. They're telling us to love Esau. This is exactly what they're saying. Now, I took the time to look up hate. And what is the opposite of hate? Or to dislike intensely, right? This is what it says. It says to love, to have affection for, to be attracted to desire, fondness, admiration. I mean, it's got like a idolatry, happiness, kindness, liking, respect, captivation. It's like 100 words here. Fascination, fixation, intimacy, obsession. Wow. I mean, I'm not going to go on. Strong interest, deep affection. So we're not to hate Esau. So if we're not meant to hate Esau, we're meant to love him and be under affection and admiration and desire. That's kind of what they're saying. I mean, and it seems like all these groups, they can tend to do that. The IUIC says that too. We don't hate Esau. That's what they teach. We don't hate him. Well, you don't hate him, then why are you talking bad about him? Why are you worried about it? Why are you out there preaching against what he's done? Right? You have love now you have love for him. That's the problem. Now you love Esau. And this is what happened when you're so upset. You're so upset that your teachers let you down, and I got nothing but bad things to say. So anyway, he went in Deuteronomy 23 and 7, thou shalt not abhor the Edomite, for he is thy brother, and thou shalt not abhor the Egyptian, because thou wast a stranger in a strange land. Do these guys read, right? The camps teach brothers to abhor both, and them at GMS say is talking about Assyrians. Well, we already went through the clerical era. If if you're not intelligent enough to go and do your research and read, then that's on you. But what I'm gonna do is keep on. Job clearly has Edomite friends. Oh boy, they didn't even do the research on that with Job in the translations. I don't think I have much time for that part. I mean, it's so many crazy doctrines. It's out of control. Now Job, I think they're teaching Job is a white man. I'm not saying these guys are, but that's what people believe. He had white friends and, so forth and so on, right? So even I guess Jacob was a great friend of Esau, even though he was complaining about in the book of Genesis that he was claiming he was feared that Esau was going to kill him. Yeah. The Lord created foes, right, to the children of Israel. That's what it is. That is the point of the whole separation. That's why in Leviticus 20:26, he said he divided the nations of their inheritance. Don't you know why would you have a family under a roof if they're not in agreement and having the same kind of culture? That means anybody can just come live under your roof, and that should be okay. Anyway, it says here, the Syriac text written around 200 or 300 AD soon later came to the Vulgates. It appears that from the Syriac book, the Aramaic version of Job, that Job lived in the land of Uz, of the time that confines of the Idumea of Edom in Arabia. Previously his name was Jobab, right? After taking an Arab woman to wife, he gave birth to his son, whose name was Imnan. His father was Zerah, descended from Esau, right? And his mother Basora, so that he was the fifth from Abraham. Then it follows a list of the ancient Edomites and all that. It says here, now there is no definitive reason to credit this statement as historically accurate. It might be nothing more than guesswork, and one might just as well perhaps link Job with Jobab and Job 10 and 29, right? Or with neither of these men. Still, there might be something to it, and it was clearly part of the Israelite tradition. I'm not going to read any more of that, but we're not going to go back and forth about that. What I really want to do is Deuteronomy 23 and 7. Thou shalt not hold an Edomite or an Egyptian, because he was a stranger in a strange land. Let's go to the book of Acts. Let's go to the book of Acts 13. Okay, and it's 13 and 14. I'm going to get to the point. Then it says, then Paul stood up, beckoning with his hand in the air, and said, men of Israel, and ye that fear God, give audience. Those God-fearers, when you go and do the research, right? The God of this people, Israel, chose our fathers and exalted the people when they dwelt, right, as strangers in the land of Egypt. As strangers, right? And with a high arm brought them out of it. Right? So we're going to go on down. Men and brethren, verse 26. Men and brethren, children of the stock of Abraham. See, the opposite of love, right, is hate. Now, the scriptures do say live peaceably amongst all men. Hey, I've done work for Edomites. And some of them kind of cool. Remember, the scripture says when a man ways please the Lord, he makes his enemies to be at peace. Nobody's saying to go around hating Edomites, right, to the point you can't work with them, or you can't have work to, work that might need to be done, and so forth and so on. No, we never said that. We are saying for the works that they've done, they're going to get paid back for it, whether they're in white skin or black skin. Because again, we can't go around saying it's all about being white. And then the offering the other cheek and everything else. I guess they're saying all these things that Yahushua was speaking to disciples about. I guess that included all the other nations as well. All the laws and everything he was saying. I guess everybody laid hold of the covenant now. I don't know. Men and brethren, children of the stock of Abraham, and whosoever among fear of God. There we go again. To you is the word of salvation sent. So if the Lord is talking about saving the Israelites, that's who he loved. Isn't that the case? Did not the Most High say, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated? Did he not say that? Did not the Lord says to follow him, the first commandment, to love him? So if the father hates Esau, then we would hate Esau, right? If the father, let's go to Malachi, right? Let's go to Malachi. Malachi, and they'll do damage control. We know how it goes. We know how it goes. And first of all, there's a spiritual thing. There's some white people who look white as not Esau. So you can't say that either. We just waiting on the Lord. Okay? It says, I have loved you, saith the Lord, Malachi 1. Yet you say, when thou have loved us, was not Esau Jacob's brother? Saith the Lord, yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau. Right? And laid his mountains and his heritage wasted the kingdoms of the wilderness. Now some people would say, okay, he hated them. But Romans 9:11 said before they was even born, it was already chosen who he wanted. Where Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and shall call them the border of wickedness. And the people, this proves it's not just talking about Esau, and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. Right? Now we go to, and it says, and your eyes shall see, and ye shall say, the Lord will be magnified from the border of Israel. So when we go to Amos 5:15, right, it says, hate the evil. Now, you know, there was a period of time where you had Esau doing his thing, and he wouldn't, going through the wilderness, and he was already, always a certain way towards us. Like the Philistines, we had a lot of problems with the Philistines. But then when you go up to the time of 70 AD, right? When you go up to the time of Antiochus, right? Because remember, it was a time where we were just tributaries and servants under them. But then there was a time where they started lynching our babies, man. Right? They started lynching the men and the babies, and he was the root of that, Antiochus Epiphanes. And then reincarnated years later, what were they doing? They was lynching us on trees. Right? But we were in the new covenant then, by the way. That's what they say. When Yahushua died, the new covenant activated. So in that new covenant, all this bloodshed and murder is taking place. So then when we get to the kingdom, we're still in the new covenant? This doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. By us waking up now, that's starting it, like we're coming into it. But that's why he said, I'll drink it when I will not drink the fruit of the vine until I drink it new. This is why it says the kingdom of heaven starts within you. You are not the kingdom of heaven, but it starts within you. Right? Now you might say you are the kingdom of heaven, but these bodies, flesh and blood, is not going to the kingdom of heaven. Yeah. Hate the evil and love the good. Right? We're allowed to hate anything that's evil, even our own people that is completely wicked. I guarantee you, some Edomite or whoever break up in their house and do some atrocities into their family and their house, all that's going to change. Right? Somebody does something to their wife or children, I guess they just going to offer the other cheek. It's all right because I love you anyway. That kind of mindset is what destroyed us in slavery. To love every damn body. We don't consider loving the Lord and hating the evil which the Lord created. Loving every damn body. That's our people, man. And it's in all that love they claim they had, they don't even love the men that taught them. Romans 12:18, if it be possible, as much lieth in you. That's the reason why he said as much of life in you, because it's almost impossible. It says to live peaceably amongst all men. You got to do it to the best of your ability, man. So we don't go around talking about, we hate you, Essau. Want our jobs and at work, riding down the street. Yeah. They have totally flipped the whole doctrine. They've totally flipped it all. Right? Let's go to Obadiah 1:10. It says, for the violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Right now, you can read Obadiah. These Jakes, they know Obadiah. But let's go to Isaiah 14 real quick. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers, here we go with that word strangers, which I've done videos on them about that word strangers, what can mean other nations, but strangers can mean Israelites, just as we read in Acts 13, and that you can read in Leviticus, the 19th chapter, and about the 30th verse. We dwelt as strangers amongst one another. You can also read Acts, the Pentecost, Acts the 2nd chapter, and read it all down. I don't know if these guys read, they've read it, but they want to change the doctrine, man. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. How the hell are we going to do that? Loving them. Right? It goes on. It gets better. And it shall come to pass. Don't Revelation 18 says, double unto her according to her works? What about Obadiah that said the house of Essau shall be a stubble? How is that going to happen? Is that not going to happen at the hand of the Israelites? But I guess we'll be loving them. We'll be whipping them with a big whip. I love you. You're my brother. We're together. And we just whipping them. Yeah. Selling them off. Well, my fellow Edomite brother, I still love you anyway. Right? When the missiles come, I guess you're going to go try to save them and send them to the shelters and the bunkers. I don't know. And it shall come to pass in that day, that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear. And what did that come from? From Edom, right? And from the hard bondage wherein thou hast been made to serve. Wait a minute. Who gave us the hard bondage? Who brought us over to say something like this? And after the atrocities that we witnessed and went through, and the broken families and the situation we're in, that was all the hands of the Lord. And that was to show the fear of the Lord and what the Lord can do. But he used the people. This is why Ezekiel 9 says, go to the midst of the city, in the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark on the men that sigh and cry for the abominations. Who running the world? Who's promoting the biggest abominations on the planet? But we supposed to love that too? So now we got to love the elites. We love them too. You know what, Mr. Roth, Mr. Rocka fellow, you my fellow Rocco fellow, we're going to be all right together. Just keep doing what you're doing, right? Keep poisoning us, right? Keep doing these things that, that happened the last couple of years. Just keep pushing that stuff on us, man. But even though you're doing it and you're wrong, I love you anyway. Oh boy. Anyway, and the hard bondage what thou was made to serve, that thou shalt take up a proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how have the oppressor ceased of the golden city? Right? The Lord have broken the staff of the wicked. Didn't he say hate the evil and love the good? Wasn't that telling us to hate evil? I don't know. Maybe they got some other doctrine. And the sepulchre of the rulers, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. See how our people forget? We lynched and hung on the trees. You see your wife and your baby lynched on a tree, right? You see that? How they split men's legs apart and all these things. Forced Christianity on us. And through all that oppression, these guys are still pushing Christianity. Give up being a Hebrew Israelite. Go back to Christianity, because that's exactly what you are, man. That's exactly what you are. I don't have too much more on that. That's all I have on that. Shalom.